straw hat?
Yes, sir, with a red ribbon.
She's wearing a black cross.
It was a straw, sir. I wrote it down.
Yes, no doubt the last one, or I'd be giving her 3 months. Case dismissed.
Thank you very much.
Have a warrant. Search these premises. Detective Inspector Morgan. Will you ladies stand clear of the desk, please?
The challenge. The government has not... Is that you, Mrs. Harding?
Oh, thank God you're here.
What is it?
Fred Lawrence sent me. The police have raided Clement's Inn. They've arrested Fred and Emmeline on conspiracy charges.
Conspiracy? They can make that mean anything they want.
Oh, that's what Fred told me. He said it was a blanket charge or something. They've got a warrant out for you as well, and your mother. You'll be served in prison. It was only chance I went back to the office and I found them. Oh, they pulled open files and taken things away and... Oh, it was awful. Fred managed to get a few moments with me alone. He asked me to take over the editing of Votes for Women. He said you were writing an editorial. That's another reason I had to come. Have you got it?
Yes, it's here. They've laid down a challenge, just as I wrote. So much for Asquith's pledge. Now they intend to crush us. But we'll show them. Even if they arrest us, even if they arrest all the leaders, we must show them by greater militancy. Greater and greater militancy. That arresting us will have the opposite effect. It will not stop the movement, but make it stronger, more determined. That's what we'll show them. They don't know about this place. So there's time. I'm alone. That's what it means, you see. Alone now. Who's there?
It's me, Annie.
Annie! I barricaded it. I thought I'd make a fight for it with the police.
You've heard then. Now look, love, we must not let them get you. I've got a cab outside.
No one followed you.
Of course not.
I wanted time to think.
I'm taking you to Nurse Pines.
Good. The nursing home, Pembridge Villas. She said once when she had the lift put in that I could always hide there in the hole in the wall.
Well, you can't wear that hat now.
Nonsense. Why not? Godfather bought it for me.
Well, it's a bit conspicuous now, don't you think?
Nonsense. You've got a cab. It isn't far. Come on.
If you say so.
We're operating later on. Appendicectomy. So that won't wait. If the police come, we could take you to the theatre in a mask. You wouldn't faint, I suppose.
I don't think so.
Those will have to be burned. I'm sorry, Christabel, but if the police come, we can't have the smallest scrap of evidence. They've closed me like a shot. You can sleep here this evening and leave first thing in the morning.
Well, I shan't sleep anyway.
Is Miss Kenny coming back?
Yes, she's gone to pack some things for me.
Oh, well, that's all right, then.
Lady Pine. That's what Mother calls you.
Your dear mother. As if she hadn't done enough. Well, now this. I suppose she'll come back here when it's all over. Weak from fasting. And I'll nurse her back to health. And off she'll go again.
Well, you wouldn't want her to give in.
What difference would it make to her what I want? They'll never break her. None of them. There's a real lady for you. If anything happens, I'll have you called at once. Right, Ho?
Thank you. I'm alone. Alone now.
One of us has to stay out of prison. And you're the politician. It has to be you.
I know.
You don't need anyone.
Like Joan of Arc. We believe like hers our voices are of God. They are. They are. They shan't take me. They shall never take me. I shall burst my bonds. Escape. Of course I shall escape. My freedom.
I know, but how? How will you do it?
Edith. When I was in Holloway, I remembered it from my law studies. A political offender isn't liable to extradition. Extradition? I can go to France and they can't touch me. I must escape to save the movement, all of us.
Well, that's all very well, but who's going to run things here?
You are.
I am.
You were a regional organizer. Someone's got to do it, whether I escape or not.
You're right.
What do you say then?
Oh, well, don't worry, I'll manage. Don't vex yourself. I'll take care of it.
And I want you to come over every week if possible so we can work out plans.
Every week to France.
It's not the moon.
It is to me. Oh, well, if you don't go there, you go to prison. At least I'll see you once a week.
Annie.
There's the books you wanted.
Thank
There's your money. And there is your hat. A bit more sensible than the other thing, don't you think?
How do I look?
Pale. It's only like a paint.
Beast, I haven't got any.
There you are then. That's your coat.
Like going to school.
Well, maybe it won't be long.
Won't. I know. You'll break them.
We're off.
Good morning. Can I help you?
Miss Pine, Detective Inspector Morgan. I'm looking for a Miss Christabel Pankhurst. I hold a warrant for her arrest.
Miss Christabel Pankhurst.
I believe you know her.
Oh, yes, Inspector. I've known her for a good many years. And her mother, too.
When did you see her last?
Let me see now, Christabel.
Did she call here last night? Is she here now?
Do you know, Inspector, I can't say when I last saw her.
You've no objections if we come inside and have a look around.
You're most welcome.
Excuse me, officer.
Yes, ma'am. Can I help you?
Yes, I believe you can, if you don't think I'm foolish. But I expect you realize this is a boat train.
Yes, ma'am. Next stop, Folkestone.
Yes, you see, I have been occupying myself during the journey and writing a letter to my mother. Now, could you be so kind as to post it for me? I doubt if I shall have another opportunity before we board the steamer.
No trouble at all, ma'am. Rely on it.
Thank you. Really so kind. It's already stamped.
Thank
Au revoir.
a nice man. I do think our police are wonderful. Don't you?
Yes, wonderful.
Awake! For morning in the bowl of night has flung the stone that puts the stars to flight.
They seek her here, they seek her there. Policemen seek her everywhere. Is she in heaven? Is she in... Well, that damned elusive Christabel. In London, in Manchester, in Douglas, in Edinburgh. Is there any place on earth the lickspittles of the Tory press have not assured us she must be? And all the time, we have the answer. My friend Israel Sangville has given it to us. She is here. Gentlemen of the press, she is here in our hearts.
Godfather. Oh, I hardly recognized you.
What? What do you mean? Oh, this, yes. Well, that's my disguise, yes. I thought perhaps the police might not approve of my leaving the country while I'm still on bail.
Well, how did you get here?
New Haven, Dieppe, the night boat, not the most pleasant crossing.
Emmeline isn't with you.
No, I left her in the West Country with friends. We spent Easter with them. You're really here?
Can I get you anything? Coffee?
No, not yet. We've got such a lot to talk about. How have you been managing?
I have no difficulty. It was difficult at first, waiting for news. Until one day Annie arrived, and since then I feel as much in charge of things as ever I did in London. I have regular visitors. Mother was here last week. And you're almost in my bad books for not having been before.
Oh, dear. Christabel, it's worrying me. Annie tells me that you're preparing a new campaign of militancy, including arson.
Yes, she's drawn up lists of volunteers. Everything's ready.
Yes, but we're appearing at the Old Bailey in 2 weeks' time on the conspiracy charge.
I won't do anything until the trial's over. I realize I mustn't prejudice the sentences.
Your own as well?
Mine. They can't try me in my absence. Surely you didn't think.
Yes, I did. It's wrong, Christabel. You ought to be there.
Nonsense. Whatever for? To pay the penalty for my crimes? I've not committed any. None of us has. We're not common criminals. I don't see why any of us should have to suffer when we've done no wrong. Besides, there had to be someone to control the movement, someone they can't touch. Could have been any of us. As it is, it's me. You don't agree? Tell me why.
Because I believe that martyrs do more for a cause than violence. You see, I feel certain that if we all go to prison, the outcry will be tremendous. The whole country will be on our side.
What use will that be if they've no leader? How many martyrs do they want? You, Emmeline, Mother?
Oh, you're the most important to the public.
Me? Why?
Oh, great Scott, because you're young and beautiful. And do I have to tell you, half England is in love with you. Surely you know that.
Then England is very foolish. I don't intend to be confused by other people's passions. I have only one, to defeat this government. And for that I must be free as I am now and shall remain. You understand?
Yes, of course. Must be your decision. So there'll be 3 of us.
Frederick Pethick Lawrence, Emmeline Pethick Lawrence, and Emmeline Pankhurst. And there are circumstances connected with your case which the jury have very properly brought to my attention. And I have been asked by you, all 3, to treat you as first-class misdemeanors. But as you say openly that you mean to continue to break the law, To make you first-class misdemeanants would only be to put into your hands further capacities for executing that purpose. The sentence of the court upon each of you is that you will be imprisoned for 9 months in the 2nd Division. And as the Crown has been placed to great expense and private citizens have been badly damaged in their properties by your acts, as to you, Frederick Pethick Lawrence, and as to Emmeline Pankhurst, I make a further order that you pay the costs, jointly and severally, of the prosecution in the case.
Mrs. Pankhurst.
Stay where you are. You have been forcibly feeding Mrs. Pethick Lawrence. You shan't feed me.
I'm afraid I must.
If you dare to take so much as one step inside this cell, I shall defend myself. Just one step.
Well, no matter. The morning will do as well.
Wait. Now I want you to take me to Mrs. Pethick Lawrence.
It's against regulations.
Take me to Mrs. Pethick Lawrence. Never mind. It's all over now. Never mind. Come on. Never mind, dear. They won't come to you again.
There, it's done. Now I can listen to you. Sylvia, what's the matter? Why so dismal? Don't worry about Mother and the others. They'll be out of prison in no time. Annie's had word. How can the government hold them when they don't either feed them or let them starve, you see? And I want to show you Paris. It's such a lovely season with all the chestnut trees in bloom. And pictures. You'll want to see the pictures.
Yes.
Well, then. What is it?
I don't know. It just doesn't seem to be the time to be thinking about things like that.
When was it, so far as you're concerned?
Oh, that isn't fair.
It is. You're always gloomy, even as a child. I can't remember how many times I found you crying in a corner, usually about nothing at all. Well, if you're not keen on Paris, tell me about America. Seems God's country hasn't changed you at all.
I didn't change it either.
But you tried.
They didn't like the window smashing when it happened. The older people, anyway. But there was tremendous enthusiasm in the colleges. One of the girls I met there is going to join me from Michigan.
Good. It's the young who understand now. Now that the fight's on, there's no pretending anymore. Those who want to join must fight in unity. And those who don't mustn't get in the way.
And what about me?
You? I don't mean you. Behave as if you were still out of the country, and when those who are active are arrested, you'll be called on and you'll be there.
Is that all?
Well, what more do you want?
It's so inadequate. Mother's in prison. Mrs. Pethick Lawrence is being forcibly fed. Fred Lawrence, too. Do you expect me to act as if I was afraid?
Silly, I told you
When I got back, I was the only one of us in England and out of prison. Adela's gone to Australia. You're over here. Now, I had to see you. Not that I want to row, but there are things I can't accept, knowing what you've done and what you'll do. I see so clearly what will happen. All the suffering, And I don't understand what you imagine is the purpose of it all, where it'll end.
It will end when we've won. Until then, there must be unity under one command here in Paris where the government can't reach us. And do you think that being an exile is so easy? Because it's not. And if you don't want to row, I'm sure that I don't.
You won't get rid of me like Adler.
You could be multiplied 100-fold, but one of Adler's too many. Speak at a few meetings if you want, but why concern yourself with policy? Leave that to me. Now, that's an end of being serious. I want to buy a dress. I found a perfect shop. And I'm going to show you pictures, so you must choose. Tell me, where shall we go?
Christabel,
I won't say a word on any other subject until you tell me.
to the Pantheon. I want to see their collection of Puvis de Cheyenne.
Good. That's what we'll do then. And don't worry about the movement. The good ship WSPU is under my flag with all her cargo, and she'll come safely home.
Still here. Home.
I dreamt about it every night in prison.
Did you?
Fred, there's someone here.
What?
Who is it?
Mr. Pethick Lawrence?
Yes?
Good evening, sir. My name is Hawkins, bailiff. I'm afraid we've had to take possession of your house, sir. With due authority. I dare say you'd like to see the warrant.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. It's a matter of an undischarged debt, I'm told, to the court.
The judge's order. Costs of our case. I've instructed my solicitors not to pay, on principle.
I'm afraid we can't admit you to the property, sir. Those are my instructions.
Yes, we understand.
I was sure you would, sir. Good evening to you, ma'am.
Where shall we go?
Friends, there are things for us to do out of England.
Then go. Go quickly.
Face to the dawn. Just wait until you see. Oh, we bought a bargain, didn't we, Annie? Hey, careful with my precious one. It was in that little junk shop in Montmartre. You know, the one you showed me yesterday. But I swear it wasn't there then. I'd seen it.
She's mad.
Why? What happened?
The English papers came while you were out.
Dublin. Riots in the streets. Mary Lee and Gladys Evans set fire to the Theatre Royal where Asquith was to speak.
It's happened.
With bombs and tins of petrol.
Oh, let me see.
Oh, my splendid ones. Oh, they dared. It's the signal for the revolution. Nothing can stop us now. The homes of cabinet ministers, government buildings. It's begun. And you and Annie planned it all.
We did have a bit to do with it, we'll say that.
Yeah. What do you imagine Fred and Emmeline will think?
Well, they're in Canada. Or I suppose Emmeline would disapprove.
I didn't mean that.
Well, what did you mean then?
There's a new difficulty so far as Fred's concerned. The London firms are taking actions against him to make good their losses in the window smashing raid.
Yes, I know, you told me that.
Well, if it goes against him and everything we damage is charged to Fred, he'll lose his fortune.
What could he do to avoid liability?
Do? Remove his assets to another country, I suppose.
To Canada.
Why Canada?
That's where he is.
Yes, if you want. To Canada.
It's not a question of what I want, is it? It's a question of the movement.
I must say, I've wondered what would happen. I mean, when they come back from Canada, this new militant policy, you in Paris and you in and out of prison. We must have one directive.
There is the possibility that Fred and Emmeline might take control.
I didn't say that.
No, I know you didn't, Mother. I did.
I'll write to them.
if we continue this new militant policy, as we intend to, then the Pethick Lawrences will be ruined. I shall suggest that they stay in Canada for the moment. It would be better for them, and better for the movement.
They'd resign, they'd have to.
It's the parting of the ways.
People are going to have to choose, us or the Pethick Lawrences.
Well, you know where I stand. But you, how do you feel? I mean, you and Fred and Em and all those years you lived together.
What do my feelings matter? Mine or anyone's? Very well, you say all those years with Fred and Emily. But I'm alone now. And loneliness can give you strength. And there's only one thing matters to me. What we must do to win.
Yes. And the fight's on.
Oh, thank you, dear.
Hello, we're back. Never mind the cases, Fred. Come on in.
Emily.
We landed this morning and came straight here. How's Clemence in?
Hello, Mavis.
Evelyn, what's happened?
You haven't heard.
What?
I must tell you before you see Mrs. Pankhurst. They're going to turn you out of the WSPU. Everyone knows here.
I don't believe you. It's impossible.
No. Haven't you heard?
We had a letter. But that was on financial matters. A suggestion we rejected. But it's not possible to expel us from the movement. We shall have to be consulted.
Fred. Emily. I wrote to you. I should have made it clearer. I hoped you'd understand.
It isn't true.
Yes, I'm afraid it is. I'm quite determined, for all our sakes, Fred. I've given the matter a great deal of thought, as I'm sure you'll understand. And I've decided there must be unity. And that means complete and absolute control by Christabel and myself, acting alone.
Then it's not even a question of policies.
Oh, you haven't agreed with our policy for a long time.
Not with yours, perhaps? Always with Christabel?
I can't believe this until I hear it from Christabel herself.
Very well. We can't talk about it now, after your long journey. I wanted you to know as soon as possible. That's all.
I don't believe it. It's incredible. I don't believe it. Christabel.
Train 6.
Thank you, Ella. Thank you. This is the place.
Oh, good evening. Mrs. Pankhurst asked us to call.
Yes.
It's Muriel, isn't it? Muriel Delahaye?
Won't you come in? Mr. and Mrs. Pethick Lawrence.
Em? Why did you ask us here?
Christabel.
Christabel? What are you doing here?
You told me you wanted to hear of our decision from Christabel herself. She has taken great risks to be here.
You'll be going back.
Unless they catch me.
I didn't ask you to take risks.
I wanted to be here.
I see. And you'll confirm what your mother's told us?
Yes.
We want to hear it in your own words. We want to know the reasons.
I think Mother has already given them. I intend in future to direct the Union from Paris. We're in a state of war with the government. There must be unity of purpose, unity of command. I think I have some insight into the actions of our opponents. From now on, we alone shall determine policy. And those who will not accept our orders must act outside the WSPU. As I understand it, you're not prepared to serve the movement on these terms.
Serve the movement? When I first joined you, you hadn't a penny in your funds. Your organization was non-existent. And what is there today? A paid staff of 100. Hundreds of volunteers, offices, an income of £30,000 a year. We've been in prison. We've been held down by prison warders and forcibly fed. We've lost our home. And we're prepared even now to back this cause with every farthing we possess. So tell me again, what is it we're not prepared to do? Tell me.
You're not prepared to accept our new policy.
It's Christabel I was asking. Speak to us as human beings. You've lived with us day by day, almost as our daughter. Don't stand there like some horrible machine reciting speeches. Tell me.
It's not a question of human relations. It's a question of politics.
Oh, my dear child, that's exactly what politics is all about.
Not in war. I never made you understand that.
No. And I never shall.
Then what? What are we to do?
We shall agree upon a joint statement to be signed by all four of us. We think you should continue to edit Votes for Women, and we shall produce our own official paper to be called the Suffragette. And I shall refer to all these points in my speech in the Albert Hall on October the 17th.
And if we don't agree, we've already been announced as speakers at that meeting.
Well, speak if you wish. But in that case, neither Mother nor any other official of the Union will be on the platform.
I will not accept it. It's a monstrous ultimatum. Very well. You say it's war. Let it be war, then. Let us see what the supporters of this movement want. And I demand the right to ask them from the platform of the Albert Hall.
Then you will speak alone.
No, my love.
You'll give in?
No, that's not the question. How would it help the cause? There's nothing that we can do now to build on what we've done, only destroy. If we appeal to the movement, we shall split the ranks. Our enemies rejoice, that's all. No, we've no choice, my love. We must accept.
Very well, I do. It's strange. I never knew you.
Why? I never knew myself.
But when unity of purpose is no longer there, I say tonight, as I have always said, a movement is weakened. And so it is better far that those who cannot agree, cannot see eye to eye as to policy, should set themselves free to pursue their policy as they see it, work for women's suffrage in the future as they think best, while we of the WSPU shall continue the militant agitation initiated by my daughter and myself and a handful of women over 6 years ago. Will you help us? You women here tonight. Well then, if you will, put aside all craven fear, gird on your armor, be militant as we others are, each in your own way. It is not and never has been the policy of this movement recklessly to endanger human life. We leave that to the enemy. But there is something the government cares for far more than human life, and that is property. It is through property that we shall attack the government. Those of you who can break windows, break them. Those of you who can still further attack the secret idol of property, do so. And my last word is to the government. I incite this meeting
You can see the next play in this series next Sunday night on BBC One at 11:05.
A wider morrow, ways that are weary, days that are dreary.